Derek, or bus driver, tour guide, whatever. I answer to everything. The city was very popular. We had so many people. In these Creole neighborhoods, though, you are mainly going to find some type of a shotgun home. I'm going to show you a few types, and I'm going to explain them. So coming up to the right, you're going to see a gray and an orange one next to each other. And these are going to be your basic single shotgun homes. And you'll see not very wide. They go straight back. Again, I'll explain those in a minute, right here. On the left, look up at the top of this, and you'll see how the second floor, that doesn't start about halfway down the house. To them, this reminds them of a hump of a camel, called those the camelback shotgun homes. And then the yellow on the right, it's a double shotgun, which is like two single shotgun homes put together. Saves some money, pretty smart. New Orleans, and more specifically Treme here, a lot of free people of color. They were way ahead of their times. So like I said, about 60% of this city is below sea level, about 10% at sea level, and then it goes up from there, all right? Our two high grounds, like I said, along the Mississippi River, but also along Lake Pontchartrain, right? The two opposite sides of the city. That is the rim of the bowl, along the lake and along the river. And then everything else in between it kind of all dips down, meets in the middle. Mid-cities, the halfway between the lake and river, bottom of that bowl. And with parts of it, lowest point in the water table, parts of this mid-city area gets as far as 6.5 feet below sea level. Just Popeyes for $1.8 billion with a B. Now, I don't know about you, right? And I don't know how it is where you're from, but I had no idea Burger King even had $1.8 billion. Nobody's ever gotten in my car and said, hey, let's go to Burger King. It's the last option after everything else has burnt down. Then you go to Burger King. It's not popular here is what I'm saying. But in essence, he traded his car for what would eventually become $1.8 billion. Pretty good investment. So for a very long time, St. Charles Avenue was known as the Americans' Millionaires Row. By the way, this is also, if you've been on Canal Street, maybe you noticed this already, and if you did, it probably confused you. Let me unconfuse you. Depending on what side of Canal Street you're on, determines what's the name of the crossing street. For example, if you're in the French Quarter on Bourbon Street, right, walking along Bourbon Street, you cross over Canal, it's not called Bourbon Street over here. There is not and has never been a Bourbon Street on the American side of the city. It's called Carondelet Street on this side. Same thing. You're in the French Quarter, walking along Royal Street, cross over Canal, you would then be on this street, St. Charles Avenue. Same streets, two different names. They did not even want to have the same street names as each other. That's how much they didn't like each other. You know, some serious hate there. We're going to pass another cemetery. It's Lafayette Cemetery number 1. It's not much to see, right? It's definitely not in great shape, but it's significant for a different reason. So if anybody watched that movie, Double Jeopardy, with Ashley Judd and Tommy Lee Jones, if she was buried alive inside the tomb, the scenes of that were filmed over here at Lafayette 1. But also, TV series The Originals, NCIS New Orleans, Your Honor, list goes on. In fact, any movie, any TV show that you have seen that have been filmed here in New Orleans since the 60s and have used our cemeteries, most of them have been inside this one here. Because it is a public cemetery. The filming industry, they are not allowed to use our Catholic cemeteries here at all. The Easy Rider ruined it for everybody. So for one, they didn't have permission to use that cemetery, but for two, they tore that cemetery up. Here's the deal, y'all. In the movie, they're portraying... Also, if you're looking for a really cool bar to go watch some games, they got one down there called the Bulldog, especially if you're a beer person. So I told y'all, straight in front of us is the Irish Channel neighborhood where all the breweries are. There's a bar down there on Magazine called the Bulldog that has like 30, 40 selections of local beers. If you're into trying beers, right? I always try local beers wherever I go. The Bulldog is a cool spot.
Lämmin Okala, Kongos Square ja Louis Armstrong Park.
looking for a place to hide. And I see coming in and never look sounds like. I see them down me.
Iltaääniä.
Yes, we can, I know we can, yes, we can, we got your mind, yes, we can, I know we can, yes, we can, I know we can.